Bonjour, good morning. Bienvenue à NATE. Welcome to NATE. We are pleased to host this morning's announcement and to welcome to our campus the Honorable Minister François-Philippe Champagne, the Honorable Minister Randy Boissonneau, our Provincial Minister of Energy, the Honorable Peter Guthrie, and Air Products CEO, Mr. Safi Gazemi, and Vice President and General Manager, Rachel Smith. I would like to begin by honoring and acknowledging that the land on which we gather today is Treaty 6 territory. At NATE, we seek to learn from history and the lessons that have come before us, and to draw on the wisdom of the First Peoples of Canada. Only through learning can we move forward in truth and reconciliation to a better future together. Before we get started, I would just like to speak briefly about the building we are in today, NATE's beautiful Productivity and Innovation Center. Built in 2017 with significant support from the Post-Secondary SIF Fund and of course from Minister Boissonneau, this center has now become the NATE's Applied Research and Corporate and Continuing Education Center. All 190,000 square feet of this remarkable building is dedicated to supporting industry as a hub for innovation and applied research, specifically in areas of cleaner energy, the environment, and resource sustainability. NATE supports economic growth in Alberta and Canada, and our world-class research team completes hundreds of industry projects every year in this building. At NATE, we are all about impact, and being industry's most trusted partner. For both small to medium-sized enterprises to multinational corporations, NATE is a major source of talent, skills development, and innovation. We are very excited about today's announcement. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Rachel Smith to start the program.
Thank you, Laura. Good morning and welcome. My name is Rachel Smith, and I'm the Vice President and General Manager of Air Products Canada. On behalf of Air Products and Air Products Canada, thank you for joining us today for the announcement of our finalized funding agreements supporting our Edmonton Net Zero Hydrogen Energy Complex. On behalf of the Air Products Canada team, we are incredibly honored to have 5 very special speakers for this exciting announcement today. First, we will hear from Air Products Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer, Safi Gazemi. Safi will be followed by Canada's Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry, the Honorable François-Philippe Champagne. Third will be the Energy Minister of Alberta, the Honorable Pete Guthrie. Next will be the Honorable Randy Boissonneau, Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance. And finally, we will share a video message from the Mayor of Edmonton, His Worship Amarjeet Sohi, who has a great reason for not being here today, as he is currently part of the delegation attending COP27 in Egypt. I also want to acknowledge and welcome Deputy Mayor Karen Principe, as well as welcome leaders from Invest Alberta and Edmonton Global who have joined us here today. Following these remarks, Laurie Bouchard, Senior Communications Manager with Minister Champagne's office, will facilitate time for media questions. So please hold your questions until that time. To begin, I want to express how very proud I am to be part of the committed team at Air Products and to be here representing them today. As the world's leading supplier of hydrogen, Air Products is driving the energy transition through real world-scale projects around the globe. This includes our Net Zero Hydrogen Energy Complex under execution right here in Edmonton. This new world-scale facility is a game changer for Western Canada. Not only will we produce hydrogen on a net zero basis using natural gas, but we will also demonstrate hydrogen-fired power generation and produce 35 tons a day of liquid hydrogen that will help enable the transition of the transportation sector to a zero-emission fuel. Using modern technology and an innovative design, this showcase facility will produce the cleanest hydrogen in Canada at scale. To give a sense of scale, there will be more than enough liquid hydrogen capacity to fuel every transit agency across Alberta, as symbolized by the hydrogen-fueled bus behind me. This facility will also begin the phased decarbonization of Air Products' existing Heartland hydrogen pipeline network. This will set the stage for this region to be home to the lowest carbon hydrogen network in the world. I would like to personally express my sincere appreciation to the Government of Canada and the Alberta government for the strong partnerships, as well as the City of Edmonton for the continued strong support. This first mover project enables Air Products to contribute in a direct and meaningful way to accelerating Canada's hydrogen economy and creating a cleaner energy future. Working together, we have already accomplished great things, and I am confident that there is more to come. Now I'm truly honored to introduce Air Products Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Seifi Kazemi.
Thank you, Rachel, and good morning, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you. And I also love the fact that I have a real hydrogen-powered bus behind me. Hydrogen is going to be the real energy source of the future. And we are very, very pleased that we are doing one of our first projects on clean hydrogen in Canada, and especially in Alberta. I would very much like to acknowledge and personally thank Minister Champagne, Minister Guthrie, Minister Boissonnet, and Mayor Sohi, because without your encouragement and support, we certainly would not be here. I recall very clearly my very first discussion with Minister Champagne about a year and a half ago. And I tell you, the presentation, the arguments, the encouragement that we got was one of the principal reasons that we decided, and the vision about decarbonization, the principal reason that we decided to invest in Canada. And at that time, there were certain promises made. And today, we are standing here announcing the realization of all of those promises. Things usually don't happen like this and don't happen like this as fast. Thank you very much once again. As you know, Air Products is a global company. We operate in 50 different countries. As a result, we have many, many choices about where to invest. So the very fact that we decided to invest and build a $1.6 billion facility in Alberta before anywhere else is a testimony to the vision and forward-looking of the political leadership at the federal level, at the provincial level, and the local level in Canada. We are very pleased to be here, and we are looking forward to many, many more projects, not only in Alberta, but also in Canada. You have the visionary political leadership. You have put in place incentives, and based on our many years of experience in operating in Canada, we have always been welcome, and we are very, very pleased to be here. Rachel has already described the details of the project and the details of the grants, so I don't really want to repeat all of that. Thank you for doing a good job for that, by the way. But I can say that this project is a significant technological step forward because we are demonstrating with the unique technologies that we will employ in this facility that it is possible to make net zero hydrogen with zero carbon footprint from hydrocarbons. And that, because at the end of the day, what counts is the carbon intensity of the product. And these technologies demonstrate that you can do that even with hydrocarbons, which obviously Alberta has plenty of that. I'm also very pleased that we have already announced that more than half of the production in this facility is already sold. So the project is economically viable, and the other half will be committed as we go forward. So we are doing something that is economically viable. It is going to be technologically a showcase for the world. And once it comes on a stream at the end of 2024, it will be the largest, by far, the largest net zero hydrogen facility in the world. So thank you very much for taking the initiative. Thank you for allowing us to be in Canada. And we love to be in Alberta. And we are looking forward to additional occasions like this, where we will announce more and more projects. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Thank you. And now it is obviously an honor and a privilege for me to introduce the man who made it all possible, Mr. Champagne.
Well, what an introduction. Good morning, everyone. Let me put that down a bit. We all woke up this morning reminding us that winter is on our doorstep, which gave us the energy to be here this morning, and a great pleasure to be back in Edmonton as always. Listen, you've heard it from the representative of Air Products and now from the chairman. It's very simple. This is going to be the largest net zero hydrogen plant in the world. Not in Canada, not in North America, but in the world. So I think we have everything as an Edmontonian, as Albertan, as Canadian to be proud, because this morning we are changing the nature of the production of energy. In a way, this is the evolution of energy, which you're seeing in action. We're going from vision to action, and it's happening right here in Alberta and Edmonton this morning. So good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. I would like to start by saying thank you to our hosts. Obviously, the president and CEO of NATE, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. What a better place, I would say, Laura, to do that than in your offices to talk about the future. And Chairman, you inspire not only the people here and people at home watching you today, but I think the next generation of technician, of engineer, because the future starts with here at NATE, and I'm very proud, Laura, that we're doing that together this morning. You are always a fabulous host, and this morning is obviously showcasing that the best is coming to Edmonton, and you see it in action. Je voudrais saluer d'abord mon collègue Randy
I would like to thank my colleague Randy Boissonneau, Minister of Tourism, but even more importantly, or just as importantly, Associate Minister of Finance. I can tell you that in the government, the finance department has a very specific role.
When Randy talks for Edmonton and Alberta, Ottawa listens. And if you want a proof of that, just look at the bus behind us and the project this morning. When Randy said, you know what, we can really change the course of how we look at energy in our country. And I think today is a great example of that because we're attracting significant investment. What the chairman was telling you, in other words, is that this is a vote of confidence in Canada. This is a vote of confidence in Alberta. This is a vote of confidence in the people of Edmonton. And I can tell everyone watching at home today that this project would not have happened without the continuous support and leadership and advocacy of Randy Boissonnault. And my friend, I want to applaud you because Mr. Chairman, you may think I'm persistent, but when you have Randy Boissonnault checking on you every week, that's a very good motivation to deliver for the people of Edmonton and Alberta. And trust me, there's more to come. As you said, we're going to be looking. Believe it or not, we're already looking at the next project this morning. Those of you who know Safi and I know that we're already looking at the next thing together. I want to recognize the presence of my new friend, the Minister of Energy of Alberta, Pete. Great pleasure to be working alongside you to accelerate the growth of Canada's hydrogen economy and position Edmonton as really a leading hub in North America for the production of hydrogen. It's great to be working together. I can tell you, nothing big happened without us working together. When you're attracting investment of that magnitude, you need a partner. And Edmonton becoming a major hub in North America for the production of hydrogen is thanks to our government and your government working together. So, Pete, I think you and I will have many, many more calls to come. I welcome you in your role. What better way to start with a $1.6 billion investment in a new role? I think you're doing pretty well. So this is good to see you. Safi, I think I can say in front of Canadians, my friend, by now, because you recall our first message. And actually, it was on the 5th of August, 2021 at 3 p.m. I noted it in my notes. That was the first time when we started to talk to each other. And at the time, we shared the same vision, a vision to be bold and to seize the moment. And I think this is really about the Canadian spirit, being bold and seizing the moment. And that's what we're doing today. And without your passion, I must say, without your leadership, and without your vision and personal commitment, one thing I know is we probably would not be here this morning. So I really want to thank you because we're celebrating this transformational investment. But this investment started with a vision of being bold, of being seizing the moment. And someone like you believes that Canada can be a great partner in the future of energy. So I want to say thank you on behalf of all the Canadians watching. I want to say thank you. And yes, you deserve a big round of applause because you were kind in your words to me, but I mean, it needs two to tango, as they used to say, and you were a great partner to do that. To the mayor of Edmonton, my good friend Amarjit Sohi, as you know, Amarjit would have loved to be with us. The only regret that he has is not being here this morning because I met him recently, but he's at COP27. He's in Sharm el-Sheikh representing the city of Edmonton. But I can tell you, you said it, Safi, that he was a big support at every step of the way. And we're lucky, and the people of Edmonton are lucky to have a visionary leader who could see that Edmonton now is going to be on the map around North America. 60% of the production of hydrogen in Canada is in Edmonton. And what we're doing this morning is just increasing that capacity so everyone notice. I'd also like to say a big thank you to the Air Products employees and all the construction workers which will benefit from that. It's really thanks to your talent, your know-how, and expertise that we can attract world-scale projects like these. I know this is going to be providing thousands of jobs for construction workers. As you know, Safi, there are some of the best workers you can find. And I would say to the team of Air Products, thank you. I see a lot of smile this morning. You made it happen, and we're very pleased for that. I also want to add that both Minister Guilbeault and Wilkinson would have liked to be with us. I can tell you, Safi, they were instrumental in shaping that vision of Canada leading in the energy transition, and certainly people understanding that hydrogen is a key element in bringing ourselves to a net zero future. And their vision has allowed this project to become reality. So I just want to say thank you to my colleagues as well. Now that I've said thank you to everyone, let me start by talking about what we're doing today. You know, like many countries, Canada wants to create a cleaner future in which we all benefit. And the need for clean energy in that future is limitless. And I think the bus we're seeing behind us and the fact that we have this investment is a testament to that. I can tell you to my dear friends that all the CEOs and the workers I talk to around the world, they look at Canada and they see that our clean energy is a key competitive advantage for a country. Comme plusieurs pays, le Canada veut créer un futur plus vert.
Like many countries, Canada wants to have a greener country for everyone. We will have a limitless in clean energy need. I can tell you that all workers I talk to around the world consider that Canada is helped by clean energy.
Especially as an abundance of clean energy. Just take a drive through this province and you can help to be amazed by the amount of wind turbines and solar panels you see that are providing clean power to our grid. In addition to those renewables, you're blessed with the ability to produce, as you said, low carbon hydrogen right here in Alberta heartland. And to ensure we have clean air and a growing economy, hydrogen must play a key role. And I'm a big believer that we can lead in the hydrogen economy. And that's why I was so passionate when I talked to you first, because everything we've done is to put Canada a champion in the economy of the 21st century. And thankfully, we have the expertise, the technology, and the skilled workers to be a world leader in the production, the use, and export of hydrogen. I want us to lead and own the podium to meet the domestic and global consumer demand for low carbon goods and services. And I'm happy that Edmonton is at the center of it. That's why we need to be bold. That's why we need to be ambitious. And that's why we need to think big and make strategic investments like the one we're saying this morning. Today, I am pleased to announce on behalf of the Government of Canada that we're going to be investing $300 million to support Air Products in their construction of a $1.6 billion state-of-the-art low-carbon production and liquefaction facility right here in Edmonton. Yeah. I think 1.6 billion deserve a big round of applause. I would agree with that because you're transforming a whole community. Saifi Sayed, the chairman of Air Products, this first of its kind facility in Canada will produce as much as 100,000 tons of hydrogen per year to support industrial decarbonization efforts. And you said it before, we're going to see these buses being fueled with hydrogen across Alberta. This is obviously good news for Edmonton, Alberta, and Western Canada. It's good news for businesses, family, and workers across the province. And it's good news for Canada to remain competitive in the low carbon economy. So this is a win-win-win strategy that we're putting in place. In fact, Air Products has committed to provide clean hydrogen to its neighbor Imperial, you mentioned that before, who will be building the largest renewable diesel facility in Canada. So not only we're producing hydrogen, but we're also decarbonizing the production of diesel. We're helping to develop a low carbon clean fuel hub right here in Edmonton. And I think this is really significant. Comme je le disais, Air Products s'est aussi engagé à fournir.
Air Product committed to provide hydrogen to Imperial. And now Imperial will build the greatest renewable diesel facility here in Canada. So we're giving ourselves the means to meet our goals in a low carbon economy.
To our Net Zero Accelerator initiative. They were the front runner. They was the first mover. And as you know, the Net Zero Accelerator is our key tools to reduce pollution, build a strong and sustainable economy. But there's even more good news coming, because while Air Products has been an early mover, we have launched in March this year a call for action to help heavy emitting companies to reduce their emissions. It was a big call out with big potential. And I must tell you all that the response was overwhelming as much as it was encouraging. So en mars dernier, nous avons lancé un appel à projet.
Last March, we launched a call for project for the Net Zero Accelerator to identify the companies and help companies to reduce their emissions.
I'm happy to tell you that we received a number of proposals from across Canada and with many, many right here in Alberta. What is clear is that heavy emitters recognize the imperative to reduce emission, to remain competitive both domestically and abroad. And I think this is the whole point we're making today. So today I'm pleased to announce even more good news that we're going to be decarbonizing industry from carbon capture and storage to lower carbon mining and to steel production with these projects. They are a testament of our creativity and innovative industries. Now, I won't list them all, but I'll give you a preview of those that are going to be making significant investment and companies which are very familiar to our friends here in Alberta. You'll see companies like Capital Power, Alberta Power, Federated Cooperatives Limited, Lafarge, and Dow Chemical. These projects will represent more than $17 billion of investment to support the decarbonization efforts that we've put together, and will represent an elimination of up to 10 million tons of emissions. But let me try to put that in perspective for folks back at home. These investments would be equivalent to removing 3 million cars off the road permanently. So for people watching at home and listening, what we heard, you heard it correctly. What we have identified is $17 billion of further investments to come and a reduction of up 10 million megatons of greenhouse gas emission. So that is really significant. And I must say that Air Products is the tip of the iceberg of what is coming in terms of decarbonization. So my friends, we are really on our way to be leading in a decarbonized economy. Now, obviously, there's still more work to do to finalize these agreements, but the message to you all is that Canada will be a leader in clean technology. You realize that we have the skills, the worker, the know-how, and the ambition to make huge and transformational projects like the ones we're seeing today with our products. What you're seeing today is action. You know, we went from vision to action. And with the investment of Air Products, what you're saying is that they're going to provide clean hydrogen to refinery customer, to the Alberta electric grid, but also to the transportation industry. So in conclusions, this morning is all about good news. First of all, we're going to have the largest low carbon hydrogen facility here in Edmonton. We're announcing $17 billion of more projects to come that will reduce another 10 million megaton of emissions. So I would say, my dear friends, let's seize the moment, let's be ambitious, and let's accelerate through the role of Canada as a green energy hub that you're going to see in North America. So with that, I'm very happy to pass the word to my colleague, Pete, the Minister of Energy of Alberta, which is off to a great start with all these projects this morning. Merci tout le monde.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. Well, good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. Today's announcement, it's an exciting one. It's about energy, it's about jobs, it's about Alberta industry powering the world into a brighter future. Our province is, and always will be, a dominant force on the global energy scene. We're a leader in oil and gas, a leader in wind and solar, and a leader in hydrogen production as well. We're already the largest producer of hydrogen in Canada by a long shot, and now we've set our sights on the world. There's been something quite dramatic taking place in Alberta recently as we recognize the important role hydrogen has to play in achieving clean, secure, and affordable energy into the future. Not only are we advancing hydrogen technology and production, but as a global leader in carbon capture, we can do it more efficiently and responsibly than anywhere else. And that is why our government is awarding more than $161 million from the Alberta Petrochemical Incentive Program, APIP, to support Air Products' new clean hydrogen facility located in Alberta's industrial heartland. This is just one of many exciting announcements from the APIP program that we expect in the years to come. I want to thank Air Products for their commitment to locating this major project right here in our province, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. The idea of clean hydrogen supply in Western Canada is no longer just an aspirational vision. When this project is operational in a few short years from now, that vision will become a reality. Air Products' investment of $1.6 billion speaks to their faith in Alberta, its innovative people, and our many advantages. This project will create 2,500 construction and engineering jobs over the next few years, diversifying the natural gas value chain and creating hydrogen for a variety of markets. The energy produced from this project meets the highest environmental standards. It's affordable, and this project is good for our economy. Of course, this announcement is not the only step we are taking. We're growing the hydrogen economy in many other ways. Earlier this year, we invested $50 million to create the Hydrogen Center of Excellence, which will help accelerate technology and innovation across the province. We also launched a hydrogen roadmap, held an inquiry into hydrogen blending, and led 2 missions to Asia this year alone. And I'd like to thank Minister Dale Nally, the former Minister of Natural Gas and Electricity, for his leadership on this file and for helping projects like this one get off the ground. The hydrogen produced here will be some of the most cost-effective, efficient, and cleanest in the world. Today is a big step towards recognizing hydrogen as the next great opportunity for Alberta's energy sector. With this $161 million in APIP funding, we are saying that Alberta can and will continue its leadership as the world's predominant energy supplier. My thanks again to Air Products. Seifi, your team, thank you so much. To my federal counterparts and my provincial colleagues, and to everyone else who took part in today and making today possible. And I look forward to touring this facility once it's up and running. So thank you so much. I'd now like to call upon the Federal Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance, Randy Boissonnault, to say a few more remarks.
Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour, Tansei, Tawau. I'm the cleanup act today. So it's great to be here. Chairman Seifi, thank you for your leadership, for your vision, for your trust in our shared vision of positioning this country, this province, and this region for great things. And friends, when we were chatting behind the scenes, I asked the chairman, I said, how did it all come together? Because my job has been to push this guy, my friend, François-Philippe Champagne, Minister of Industry and Innovation, Science and Economic Development. And I was very clear. I said, Minister, my friend, mon cher ami, I want more SIF money in Alberta. And he said, I know, give me the projects. I said, do we ever have some projects? And so look, $300 million is a superb deal and a superb investment in Air Products. But here's what the chairman said when I asked him how the deal came together. And he said, with subtlety and elegance. And so I think that's like the chairman himself and the minister who made it all happen. So let's hear it for François Champagne and Chairman Seifi. Laura Jo, thank you for inviting us to the house that we both built. Once again, the PIC Center. Thrilled to be here. I want to say, Pete, I know the learning curve you're going through. I did it a year ago. You'll get it. And we've exchanged numbers. So we're going to do great things with and for Alberta together inside the Federation. So thank you very much for your support and your investment, because Albertans and Canadians are better. Edmontonians and Canadians are better when we work together. And when we were on the doors, folks, guess what? It's one taxpayer. And they're like, you're adults, go figure it out, go work together, get us good paying jobs, grow the economy, and keep us protected. And so that's our job. So thank you, Pete. And please pass that to the Premier. Folks, I want to thank MLA Jackie for being with us here today, and Aaron Paquette. I think this is going in your ward, Councillor Paquette. So you're going to be a happy camper when this is up and running. And look, none of this happens without Edmonton Global, our regional powerhouse for foreign direct investment. Malcolm, thank you and your team for being here. And we're going to go to a video in a minute for Mayor Sohi. But folks, today is another step on the pathway down the evolution of energy. We are literally living through the evolution of energy. And today, do you notice the molecules behind me? Do you notice the different colors? The colors don't matter. What matters is the intensity of the carbon that we're talking about. And as the chairman said, getting the right mix of all the renewables, whether it's green, whether it's blue, whether it's turquoise, we're throwing the color wheel out, because what matters is having the right mix of renewables, the right mix of low intensity energy sources. Why? Because the world changed February 24th. The world changed when Russia invaded Ukraine, and our government will not rest until Russia leaves Ukraine, and the world's energy supply chains have been forever reoriented. And the world needs more Alberta energy. The world needs more Canadian energy. And there is no source of workers better placed in this world than Alberta energy workers to fuel the energy evolution, to share the ambition that Minister Champagne and that Chairman Kasemi have, because we have the best energy and oil and gas workers in the world. And guess what? They're soon going to call themselves hydrogen workers, because that's what it's going to take to power the world. And that is what the world needs from us. And that is how Canada will respond. And now the team is wondering why I haven't even looked at my remarks yet, because I learned from François-Philippe Champagne. But look, it's a golden opportunity, friends, for Edmonton. And with our announcements today, our federal government and the provincial government is making sure that Edmontonians, that our whole region grabs this opportunity and leans in and does not only what our region and the country needs from us, but frankly, what the world needs from us. And François-Philippe, merci de tous les annonces qu'on a faites aujourd'hui.
Thank you for your announcements today.
Amazing companies, that list of 10 companies, 10 of them based here, all 3 of the 10 based here in Edmonton. And think about that, $17 billion worth of investments, 10 megatons removed, 3,000 cars, 3 million cars removed from the highway. Like, that is serious business, friends. And so Alberta and Edmonton will continue to be leaders in Canada's low carbon economy. We owe it to our kids. We've lived through the heat domes. We've seen what Fiona does to an entire region of the country. We've seen what an atmospheric river does over British Columbia. Our kids and our great grandkids need us to do this now. So my friends, it's this shared vision that literally gets us up every day to make the world a better place, to see great, high-paying green jobs. And quite frankly, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? So dear friends, chers amis, this is our time. We must seize the time. We must act at the level of our ambition. We must find partners like Air Products. We will not rest until we have powered a green future with Edmonton and Alberta and Canada at its center. Merci. Thank you. Hi, hi. You can applaud for that. I almost forgot I have to introduce Amarjeet's video. So now it's my pleasure to introduce a video to somebody who is literally working right now at COP to figure out how Edmonton is going to meet its own climate change obligations. Our colleague in my first mandate and yours, François-Philippe, former Minister of Infrastructure and Communities and former Minister of Natural Resources, and now His Worship, the Honorable Mayor of Edmonton, Amarjeet Sohi.
It has always been a goal of mine and City Council to position Edmonton as a hydrogen hub. And today's announcement brings us one step closer toward becoming a more climate resilient city. Thanks to the support from the provincial and federal governments and the leadership of Air Products, this project will support the construction of a clean hydrogen facility in Edmonton, Alberta by 2024. The facility will produce clean hydrogen for key Canadian industrial sectors, such as the growing transportation market. This investment will help Edmonton's post-pandemic economic recovery efforts and will allow Canada to advance clean energy by securing an early foothold in the global hydrogen market. Edmonton is leading the way toward climate resilience and achieving net zero, and this is an important step forward. Thank you to our federal and provincial government partners and Air Products for prioritizing Edmonton's climate and hydrogen goals. I look forward to continuing this work with all of you.
Wow. Thank you, everyone, for the kind remarks and exciting announcements. So now I'd like to ask our speakers to rejoin me up front. And I will turn it over to Lori Bouchard, who will facilitate questions from the media.
Hi, everybody. So for question, I would ask you to state your name and media outlet. Then we'll start in over the conference line. Yeah.
I can do that.
I think this one will work. Good. So I would ask you to state your name and media outlet. And also it's going to be one question plus one follow-up. After we'll go over to the conference line.
Okay, is this working? Yay. This is Janet French from the CBC for
Yes.
Minister Champagne.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm
Let's
fine,
start with
thank
the
you.
greetings. You're doing well?
We can chat later. And if you could repeat the answer that you give me in English, if you could repeat it in French for my colleagues at Radio
I
Canada,
will.
s'il vous plaît. So we have a premier who wants to pass a sovereignty act to assert Alberta's independence to fight back against you, Ottawa, and assert Alberta's constitutional jurisdiction, and also repeatedly critiques your colleague, the environment minister. How do you think that this kind of rhetoric affects Alberta's ability to attract these kinds of projects?
Well, I would say I focus on people. You know, when you talk about economic development, when you look at the work that we've been doing here, who are the winners today? The workers, the family, and small businesses across the province. And you know what? I work with all jurisdictions in Canada. I've been doing that since day one. And I think that this is the way to go. There could be political differences on certain issues, but I would say when it comes to economic development, when it comes to fighting together, you know, the competition is not between Ottawa and Edmonton. The competition is how do we attract significant investments like these ones to be a leader in the economy of the 21st century. You want to lead in the economy of the 21st century? Well, hydrogen, if you want to build the hydrogen economy, it starts here in Edmonton. And I think today, for folks watching at home, they understand and they see behind the rhetoric, what really matters to folks is when we work together. And I think for me, trust me, I've been doing that job for 7 years. I have seen a lot of things in 7 years, but one thing that I know is that when we are competing, and you heard it from the chairman of Air Products, they had a choice. They really had a choice. Canada was not necessarily the most obvious choice for them, but the way we win is when we work together. And that would be a message to all my colleagues across the nation. And if we want to win, if we want to win again, we need to work together, particularly when it comes to positioning Canada as the place of choice for investment in the 21st century. You want to have that?
Oui. Et on peut le répéter en français. Janet, I really appreciate the question. And look, Minister Guthrie and I just exchanged numbers. Minister Dreeshen and I are on a text basis. I've sent a letter to Premier Smith to have our first sit down, and we'll do what I did with Premier Kenny, which is look forward to finding common ground. I mean, I'm 52 years old now. My colleague is much younger than me and better looking.
No, 52.
And I remember growing up as a kid in the Lougheed government. And what is the oldest playbook for a provincial government, and quite frankly, not just the Alberta provincial government, is to take a shot at Ottawa. And quite frankly, for most of my lifetime, the official opposition in the government's mind here in the province was the government in Ottawa, regardless of what stripe it was. So I will say what I said again. When we're on the doors, people say we're one taxpayer. You guys figure it out. Get it done. And I'll say this with my dear friend here and the minister who's largely responsible. Alberta is going to lead Canada in economic growth for at least 2 of the next 3 years. And that is something that we can all be proud of as Edmontonians and Albertans and Canadians. Et donc, quand on parle de ce que le Premier ministre dit vis-à-vis le Canada.
So when we talked about things that the Premier is saying about Canada, I'm 50 years old and for it's normal. I mean, it's a question of it's a political option, but for me, it's a question of finding policies in common grounds and for policies and to build a strong Alberta within Canada. And Edmontonians and Albertans want us to work together, and that's our mission. Yes, my answer. So what you're seeing this morning, I think it's the outcome of the work of the federal government, with working with the province of Alberta, also with the city of Edmonton as well. And I believe that we'll win. It's a win-win situation. it's a win-win when we work together. When I had my first discussion with the Air Products chairman, Canada was one of the destinations for this investment. It was not necessarily the first destination. The fact that we won was because we worked together. The winners of this significant investment is the workers, the families, the small and medium businesses as well in Alberta. You'll see that that's a big project, but also they see that Edmonton and the province of Alberta are positioning themselves as the hub, the excellence center on that hydrogen economy. And I think I've been working as a minister for 7 years. 7 years I've been working with my counterparts provincially and territorially. We win when we work together. We showed that with the team of Edmonton Global, who help us attract this project. And we saw that as well with the former government of Alberta. And we'll continue working together. Because if there's one thing that people want, and my colleague Boissonneau as well want us to work together. And I think that the risk for whoever wants to not work with us or together is that these kinds of investment will go elsewhere. So competition is not a question between Edmonton and Ottawa, it's to attract investments of that scope here. And the beneficiaries are Canadians and people from Alberta, so we'll still work together. I have a new relationship with the provincial minister of energy. We know that we have a lot of work working together, and so that's what we're going to have.
My question is about the R-Star program, which your leader is proposing a $20 billion involvement in. This is something that we've heard that your predecessor rejected, this idea. And given that it would essentially pay polluters to clean up their pollution with these incentives, by giving up government revenue, why is this something that you think that people in Alberta should support, get behind?
Well, there is a site rehabilitation program that is under consideration, but I think you're probably getting ahead of yourself right now. The program is still under development. We are weeks, if not months, away from being able to put something forward. I can tell you we are working internally and working with industry on this. Actually, this is an industry-led initiative. So we are working with industry. And of course, cleaning up and site rehabilitation is very important to our government, and anything that we can be doing to try to help in that regard, we're going to try to do that.
If there's not more question in the room, we'll turn over to the teleconference line. Thanks. Operator?
Please press star 1 at this time if you have a question. S'il vous plaît, appuyez sur étoile 1 maintenant pour poser une question. The first question is from Bob Weber, the Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I also have a question for Minister Guthrie. Minister, can you tell us, please, what your plans are for the ministerial order that currently protects the eastern slopes of the Rockies against open pit coal mining? Will you commit to keeping that order in place until the next election, or just what are your plans for it, sir?
The answer to that would be yes. It will stand.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yes, my follow-up is how long will this order stand?
I don't have an answer for you on that, but I can tell you for now, there's no changes planned.
Thank you. Next question is from Murad Hamadi, The Logic. Please go ahead.
Hello. My questions are for Mr. Champagne. Minister, you just said that the Strategic Innovation Fund Net Zero Accelerator is going to fund projects worth $17 billion in total. You named a bunch of operators, Capital Power, Dow Chemicals, and the like. How much is the NZA or SIF contributing to those projects in total?
I knew you would be coming with how much I would put. Listen, what we announced this morning is the 10 project, and the list is longer. If you wanted, I can give you the full list, because I selected 5 just because of the interest of time. People were thinking I would be speaking too long this morning, so I just shortened the list, but we'll be publishing the list of the 10 companies. What it represents is $17 billion in projects, but obviously we need to negotiate agreements with each and every one of them to assess our contribution. The good news is that the model we have developed in terms of contribution has been done now. Air Products is first out of the gate, and I want to congratulate the chairman and their team, because really we work with our colleagues at ECCC. We work with Natural Resources Canada to really have a robust process in order to assess, because you would appreciate that the amount we have to help decarbonize, we need to make sure that Canadian taxpayer dollar go as far as possible. We are keen to build the hydrogen economy of the future. We are keen to decarbonize a number of industry. You know what? When I travel around the world, just talk about the auto industry, I often say to people, we want to be part of the solution. We're going to be the first country in the world to produce green steel, green aluminiums. We're working on green batteries. I have a dream to be producing green microchips. And, you know, with the chairman today, and I don't want to tell you all because I want you to come to our next press conference, but we were already looking what kind of other industry we could decarbonize together, because the future, if you want to lease, is that you need to decarbonize that. Because I'll tell you, even in the auto sector, when you talk to the CEOs of the big automakers today, people are going to move from electric car to green car. So that's why I want to position Canada as to how do you win in the economy of the 21st century in terms of product and services is in a decarbonized environment. So what we're doing today is really leading the way, owning the podium. That's where Canada needs to be. We have everything that the world wants, and a world which has a lot of turbulence and uncertainties. Stability, predictability, the rule of law is high, but also the 5 things that attract investment in our country, and I keep repeating it. And I'll be in Japan next week, and then Korea, meeting with a number of companies, and then in Germany. First is talent. And Seifi would tell you that the first reason why they're coming here is because we have the most talented people. The second thing is the ecosystem we've been able to build. And Edmonton now is becoming the point of reference in North America for hydrogen. The third thing is our critical minerals. The fourth thing is renewable energy. And the fifth, obviously, is access to market. So I would say to your question, we will be negotiating agreement with each and every one of them. But what I wanted to give a sense today is that the investment of Air Products is a vote of confidence in Canada. The fact that you have companies who are willing to invest another $17 billion to decarbonize their industry is telling us, all of us Canadians, that we are on the right path and to win in this new decarbonized economy.
Murad, do you have a follow-up?
I'm sure he does.
I do, and I'm glad to know I've become so predictable, Minister. The Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister have both said that your government may be willing to fast-track approvals or streamline regulatory processes for energy projects that contribute to energy security for Canada's allies. I'm wondering whether you are offering any such help to either Air Products for this project or any of the projects that the list of which I'm going to see imminently, I'm told.
Well, that's a very good question. And obviously, and you can hear it from the chairman of Air Products, I think what you heard from him is that we kind of offered Air Products and their management team kind of a concierge service in order to make sure that they would see Canada with all the advantages. You know, we are living in a very competitive environment, and you always need to put your best foot forward in terms of how you would attract investment. And what you've seen, our engagement with Air Products will continue with other investors. You know, we have a big pipeline of investments that want to come to our shore. We have done the front end work, I would say now, and we have agreed with Minister Boissonnault this morning that from now on, he will work very closely with the province and the city of Edmonton to make sure that that level of service and that level of support and that level of responsiveness is present at every stage of the way. And I think, you know, what the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister said is spot on in my view, because clearly, if you want to attract investment in a very competitive environment, you need to be best in class. You need to have processes which are predictable, projects which are taking into account all issues, but also are fluid. And we need to work very closely with the province. That's what we're going to do with our friends in Alberta, like we have always done, because, you know, there's other big projects that are looking at Alberta. I'll mention Dow Chemical, there's Lehigh Cement. We need to land these things because the workers of Alberta and the people of Alberta are looking at us to deliver. These 2 other projects will come to fruition, and we're going to be working together on that.
Operator?
Merci. There are no further questions registered at this time. Nous n'avons plus de questions pour le moment. I would now like to turn the meeting back over to the room. J'aimerais maintenant vous retourner la parole.
Thank you, everybody.
À vous. À bientôt. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here this morning.
Malcolm up for a photo.
Sure.
Aaron,
Come.
come on up.